In 1984, when you were 43, what kind of...
33. Go ahead. I'm old. Go on.
That's all right. Yeah, I don't want to get stuck on your age, Mr. Danson.
grant
What
you
kind
that.
of car were you? What kind of car were you driving, Mr. Danson, back in the 1980s?
1980s.
Yeah.
Woof. Ford Explorer for a while.
And I take it probably wasn't an electric car, right?
No, but I did have the first EV1.
All right. And I suspect, you might have been renting back then, or you owned a home. Did your home have solar panels back then?
No, they did not.
No. And my point is this. The reason why I asked, I was born in 1984. I'm 35 today. I have a daughter who's 14 months old. And I think a lot about the world that she will inherit. And much of the work we do here in this committee and in this Congress is about fighting to make sure that the world she inherits is a better one than we did. The transformative changes that have happened just in the last 35 years since I was born have been dramatic, right? And you have chosen, amongst many other citizens in our country, and of course several of the panelists here, to try to make a difference, to adopt strategies in your own life and the way in which you conduct yourself to be environmentally conscious, and of course taking advantage of the technological capabilities that have also changed. So this notion that we can't adapt, that removing microplastics, suddenly we all will be amiss with the realities of trying to replace the plastic tube that carries toothpaste, to me is a false choice. Fundamentally, we all collectively are going to have to adopt strategies that enable us to move into a future in which microplastics are not polluting our planet and in the communities that we are also lucky to call home. That, to me, is what this hearing should collectively be about. So to the extent, Mr. Danson, that you'd care to respond further, I know you did talk a little bit about some of the alternatives to toothpaste containers and toothpaste brushes that are non-plastic options. But if you care to also illuminate further or expound further on that.
Just briefly, I do know that people will invent new things and create more jobs and not create stuff that is worse for the climate. But just in general, if you're talking about your children, then you're talking about climate change. You just are. And you're talking about greenhouse gases. And if you're talking about greenhouse gases and we're in the middle of a committee about ocean plastic, you have to acknowledge that the plastic is coming from petroleum and chemicals, and that lifespan from the time of production to it lying on a beach is the equivalent, all of the plastic, as the 5th largest emitter of greenhouse gases. So if you want to take care of your children, you have to start addressing these incredibly inconvenient things that we have all gotten used to and enjoy. But they're no longer good for us, and they're going to land on our children and our grandchildren in a huge way.